You thought we were going to do a
all the
Joker
power you
impression?
ever-
You thought that in the Dark Knight episode we would do an impression of Heath Ledger's the Joker before we started the cold open?
Yeah.
Psych, bitch. We're doing this random TikTok instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck the 4th of July.
Now it is mine. Pity, there is not more time for us.
You tell him it's open season on all suckheads.
Just gonna have to teach you a lesson. No more clowning around. Fire in the
Is that gasoline I smell? No, man. No!
Welcome, one and all, to Edging with Trash and Monk. It's the Edge-tacular Edge-a-thon edition, I guess.
Fuck the 4th of July.
It's 4 a.m. here at the Edging Studio in beautiful Edgewater, Chicago.
Only 2 a.m. on the West Coast. So.
On Edging West.
I'm edging west, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm kind of losing my mind a little bit. We have to stop doing these fucking Christopher Nolan movies that are like 5 hours long.
Yeah, it's a big one. I mean, luckily we only have one more, and then we're done with the Christopher Nolan Batman. We can get to better Batmans.
Better Batman's interesting.
I'm kidding. I don't know.
You're really hyped for Ben Affleck, aren't you?
I'm so hyped for Ben Affleck. With my boy Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
And they kiss. It's pretty good.
They do kiss, don't they?
I've been told.
We want to talk about the movie. I think I'm gonna have a fair amount to say about it. I do want to, before we get into this movie, I guess it's kind of about this movie. I guess last episode I said there was a scene that happened in this movie that did not fucking happen. And I wanted to quickly do an acknowledgement of forgetting what happened in The Dark Knight. I apologize. I've seen this movie once over 10 years ago. Please forgive me for misremembering one scene.
Yeah, you thought it was the military. It was actually the police.
Yeah. Well, also, he wasn't like blending in the way I thought he was, unless I wasn't paying attention. He totally did that.
I mean, he kind of was. It was just that he like didn't have makeup on, or he did have makeup on to make him look like normal. Whatever them, I don't know which one's which, but like,
yeah, I think his skin just
like a normal
looks like
guy. He just had like. He put on human face and like and you could still see the scars right when he started shooting the gun at Commissioner Gordon.
That's true.
Yeah, it's but you did get it wrong. I think I tried to correct you then, and then
yeah, we can say that
you were obstinate, and we fought fisticuffs.
That's true.
Yeah, but I'm vindicated.
I still beat you up though, so you can be vindicated all you want.
Yeah, I mean,
I've bested you in the physical challenge.
In the physical challenge, you would make a really good Nazbol with strength worship like that. I'm just saying.
That's why they call it the marketplace of ideas, because
yeah, that's so true.
More like the mark your face with ideas.
It's called a marketplace of idea because we use a force to open up markets, and then United Fruit Company pays cool taxes.
So before we get into talking about the movie, Brian, I wanted to talk about this tweet that I just realized on the live stream. I wanted to sucker punch you with this, but look at this. So, do we talk about this in the podcast?
Oh my god. Wait, is there audio?
There is audio. I was waiting for your
Please.
approval to play the audio. So this is
Oh,
this is
please.
P. Diddy dressed up as Heath Ledger's Joker for Halloween.
That's insane. Oh my god.
So tonight, it's gonna be a special night. Everybody's so serious, but we're about to go to Club Love. Club Love! If you can't dance or you can't pop, you gotta stay at home. You know the Joker don't play that, baby. Welcome to Club Love. Oh.
Yeah,
So that's P. Diddy, noted horrible person.
Noted sexual abuser of many people. Wow.
Yeah.
As the Joker.
As the Joker. And I think that
You know,
I think the Joker
thinks that's
has
normal.
a way of bringing out the extremes of people who are into the Joker,
That's very true. That's very true.
The Joker has a lot of fat Joker fans are a diverse bunch, and you can find them you can find Joker fans of all sorts of moral standing, and it really tells us that we live in a society when you look at the cross section of people who like the Joker.
Absolutely. And which Joker too? There's so many Joker.
There are so many Jokers, and there's a favorite Joker for everybody. Brian, what's your favorite Joker?
Um,
Are you a Jay Phoenix Joker?
I do like Jay Phoenix, but I might be more of a Jackelson Joker.
You're a Nicholson.
Jokelson. I don't know. I do love Jack Nicholson. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He
was good in Mars Attacks, which you watched 5 minutes of with me earlier today.
Yeah, I did watch 5 minutes of it before turning it off because I was like, no.
Yeah, I kind of thought about turning it off, but I think it was mildly good as background noise while working. Definitely the type of movie my dad would make me watch as a kid.
Yeah, the one that that's a movie that I saw in the theaters when I was a child.
Oh my god.
And it scared me badly enough that I had nightmares.
Yeah. Apparently that was a common thing if you're like old, I guess. The movie
I don't know.
The movie I saw in theaters was that's fucking, maybe I shouldn't have. Not because it scared me, but because I think it had a deep, irreversible damage to my psyche, was The Master of Disguise.
Yeah.
I don't think that movie should be shown to children.
There's a lot of things about that movie that maybe it just shouldn't exist, Although,
true.
I do like the turtle.
I do like the turtle. I think the turtle is everyone's favorite part of that movie. I think if your favorite part of that movie is anything other than the turtle, I think that there's something that you need to think about.
Yeah, go to therapy. If you like the turtle, perfect. You're fine.
Yeah. There's the turtle, or if you're a freak, you can say it's the fun fact of them doing a 9/11 acknowledgement on set during the production.
No way.
Where Dana Carvey was wearing the turtle outfit. Because it happened like while they were filming the movie.
That's so nuts.
It was like 9/12 and they show up to film again and they all have a moment of silence and he's dressed as the turtle.
We had Dana Carvey in makeup for like 6 hours turning into a turtle, and now he has to do an acknowledgement of fucking 9/11. He was probably in fucking turtle makeup.
He's probably
when 9/11 happened.
Probably.
And that's nuts.
If he was at the towers, he could have just fucking retreated into his little shell and then he would have been fine,
He would have been fine, yeah.
Maybe he should have been there.
He could have like popped out of it and like Mario gotten on the shell and like ridden down the
Exactly.
rubble as it was cascading, maybe save some lives. In fact, it's bad that Dana Carvey was not there to do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a lot of like, I've heard like multiple famous people have like stories. I don't remember who, but I've heard examples of like 3 or 4 different people who were like, yeah, they were going to be on the flight that was in 9/11 and they just didn't show up that day.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder how many
That's-
people are just not showing up for their flights. I couldn't imagine doing that. I think I would literally kill myself before I would rather. Sorry, I'm not allowed to joke about that on the podcast.
Look, we talked about those.
God damn it. But I would never miss a flight is the important part of that.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, it's
Even if I knew it was going to be 9/11, I think I would still show up to the flight.
like I gotta at that point. You make history.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. What are you gonna like not participate in like in history?
Yeah.
Yeah, what the fuck? We know what happens if you don't.
Well, all
Final
those
Destination.
all those time travel movies like really fucking drive it home. Like you can't change shit, and they've kind of got a point, because if people could go back in time and they could change shit, then they already did that, and that's what we have now.
A nice little time vortex.
Yeah.
That's time paradoxes in movies.
We haven't had a good time travel movie in a while. Those always are
No.
good fodder for the show, I think.
Yeah, probably. We can do Back to the Future.
I don't
Just
want to
kidding.
watch.
I don't.
I've gone
I
this
don't think
long
it makes
without
sense.
seeing it ever, and I can't imagine it being worth seeing at this point for the first time.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fine. The
It's
first
fine.
one is fine.
What about 2? People like 2, I think. I think you probably
It's
don't
fine.
like it, but you don't. It's fine. Wow.
Yeah.
The
It's fine
Brian,
movie.
it's fine seal of approval, everyone.
Yeah. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, the one where they go to the Wild West sucks though. Which one's that? Is that the third one?
I think they
that's the
only
third
made
one.
3, so if 1 and 2 are fine.
Yeah. Because there's the one where he goes to the future and has to like, that's the first one, and he has to like, I don't know, he has to like confront his high school bully as an adult. It's like weird. I don't know. He's getting used to that. And then the other one, he goes back in time to meet his parents and make sure they fuck.
Yeah. That's always
And
a
his
fun
mom wants to
premise for a
fuck it.
movie.
Yeah, and his mom wants to fuck him, and it's like, okay. And he plays the guitar way too good. Yeah, and then the third one's the one where they go to the Wild West, and it's stupid and shouldn't have been made. There you go. That's all of them.
Wait, 2 is the one where he has to not fuck his mom? Or is that 1?
Yeah, that's 2. God, I don't remember.
Because I thought 2 is the one with the hoverboard.
Wait, is 2 the one to the future?
I think maybe. Fuck. They really screwed themselves, I think, by naming their fucking movie Back to the Future. It's fucking confusing.
It's like, which way are you going? What's happening? Where are we?
See, they should have had a name like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. There you go. That's a movie where you know what happens.
You know exactly what's going to happen. In Honey,
And
I
then the
Shrunk
sequels, Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves, No fucking guesswork.
Mhm.
You know that Rick Moranis is in it, and some shrinking happened.
Rick Moranis.
Personally, I'd like to see Rick less anus, but
Absolutely. Rick Moranis really did hit his stride though in Ghostbusters. That's where I like to see him.
yeah, I'm a Little Shop of Horrors Rick Moranis fan. That was the Rick Moranis zenith.
I neglected. Yes, absolutely. No, you're 100% right. I forgot.
The only musical that I will willingly watch.
It's good. It's just really good. I promise you, there's other musicals out there that are good, but I understand if you're
I
not.
don't know. You know, the last time someone convinced me to watch a musical and said it was good, I ended up watching Dr. Horrible's sing along blog.
Yeah, it's not that good. That one's okay. It's not
yeah.
good.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you have to be a theater kid to enjoy musicals, and that's beyond the pale for me.
Okay, but hear me out. This ties back into the movie too.
Yeah.
You're gonna see the new musical coming out, right?
The Joker 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that the claims of it being a musical are somewhat exaggerated.
I'm sure they are.
And I remember when we watched this first one, we noticed that it already had some like musical elements to it when we did our Joker 2019 episode, which you can go back and listen to with our good pal Judas.
It's a great movie.
Great movie. And the musical thing going off of that first Joker movie would not be entirely out of left field, to be frank. But I don't know. We'll see. I'll definitely be watching it.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how musical it really is. We'll see what it really is like.
We'll see what the truth is. We'll get down to the business. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll let's get down to business. Wait.
That's another musical, I guess. Yeah.
That is a musical. Yeah.
But you know, it's not. You love the Disney Corporation? Wow.
You know, sometimes.
You know, it's not a musical though. Is the movie we just watched, which
That's
I think we've bullshit. You got anything else to bullshit about before we get into that?
No. Let's just get into it.
Yeah. Great movie. Very long. And I think my hot take is that I am firmly on the it's okay side of this movie. I think there's plenty of moments where it's like super fucking this movie like is extremely hype. And then plenty of other moments where it feels like it's like very maybe it's because people quoted the movie on Reddit all the time, but this movie reads as a Reddit ass movie to me.
Yeah.
And it also seems extremely like of its time in a way I didn't expect. Like it feels like this movie came out in 2010, and like extremely 2010 type of movie to me.
There's some really dumb bullshit in this movie.
Yeah.
I like it pretty well. Don't get me wrong, but there's some moments. Monk. Some of the exposition, the soaring music with exposition over it, that's just like, he's our Dark Knight.
Yeah.
He's our man. I'm just like, stop.
Yeah.
You don't need to do this.
Let's start with what we ended on in the last episode. Where does this movie to you where does this rank on the Morometer? For those who are just tuning in, the Morometer is a metric of how correct do you feel Alan Moore is about superheroes after you watch the superhero movie.
This one I feel like is trending towards Alan Moore territory.
Yeah, definitely, because I think we gave the last one a 3 on the Morometer.
Yeah.
This is at least a 5 to me.
Yeah, the last one was 3, which is firmly in the it's kind of Libby zone. And it's like, okay, fine. This one's like I'd say probably like a 6 or 7.
Yeah, I would say 6 just because I'm hesitant to give out a 7 to this when I know how much worse things can get. You know?
Well,
but
here's the thing. Here's the thing is that in this movie, there's this really big trend happening where it's just like, oh yeah, 9/11 was bad, and we need to deploy a Batman that looks like a fucking operator, and so they really lean into this like a tactical Batman in this, which is just pure like, you know, that's like pure Nazi wank material. But like also like the way that he interacts with cops and all that, and like Dirty Harry's it up in that he's like towards the end of the movie being like, you know,
Yeah.
I have to do what's right, not what's
Listen,
legal.
he's not held back by the morality of the police department. Yeah,
Exactly.
and you know, I think there's something to that. Wasn't the like Dark Knight comic series literally like, I don't think it has that much to do with the material in this film aside from the name, but wasn't it like a Rob Liefeld Batman run?
Wait, was it Rob Liefeld? That's so
Hold
funny.
on. Hold on. Comic. Frank Miller.
Oh, it's Frank Miller. Even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't say.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck 4th of July.
Fuck 4th of July. Yeah, the fucking like the Miller kind of drift towards creating a Batman that is like willing to break someone's legs, like very and torture them.
Yeah.
You know, to get information out of them, I think is definitely. I'm sticking with a 7, Monk. That's what I'm saying.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well we'll see if we need to, because I don't disagree with you. This movie, for one thing, like half of the movie I think is propaganda.
Very much so. Well,
there are so many scenes in this movie that are about like the morality of like the like cop culture, and they, to be fair, it's tempered with the knowledge that like half of the fucking cops in the city are corrupt, but like the corruption of the police officer is framed in this movie in terms where it's like a betrayal of like a fraternal order that you are a member of, unless it's like a unaccountable like mercenary running around the streets, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's very much the kind of like the like so Dirty Harry, like it, you know, it's these ineffectual and also corrupt police officers that need that, you know, are holding back law, right? And law being well, Batman, and also a few good cops, right?
Yeah,
the good cops. And it's like yeah. Also, like, just all the cops being like, I don't want to listen to my prisoner who's like sobbing from gastrointestinal trouble because he has a bomb zone into him. Like, you know, there's just all this stuff where it's like, I don't know if those cops are supposed to be portrayed as good, but they're not portrayed as being like bad. It's very much that kind of like cop trope from the early 2000s. That's just like, hey, these cops are tough, but also it's fair because they're dealing with a stressful situation, which was like a really common trope.
Yeah.
That sucks, but it was, you know.
Yeah, and I the reason I wouldn't rank it like, personally, I would rank it a little bit lower than a 7 is just because there's room for them to have gone further and they did not. Like the going towards the end of the movie, like when we're talking about the scene at the end where the Joker, who I want to use this to segue into talking more about the Joker, but we'll just lay out the scenario for this for now. There's 2 barges, right, escaping Gotham. One of them is full of random citizens, and the other one is full of prisoners. And they each have the detonator for each other's boats, and they're like, "You figure it out, and if you don't figure it out, I'll blow both of you up." Is what?
It's a twist. It's a twisted version of the prisoner's dilemma.
Yeah,
yeah.
Or if you cooperate, you lose.
If you cooperate, you lose. The only way not to lose is to be a fucking snitch.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay.
And they show the like prisoners on the boat in that scene, like as like humans, which they very easily could not have, you know.
That's true. In fact, they kind of subvert that because they have that God, I never remember his name, but he's the guy that they put in movies if they're like, we need a big black guy that like looks scary and will scare white people.
Yeah.
They put him in the movie. And he shows up to be like, I'll do the right thing. I know you can't take a life, so I'm gonna do it. And he's like, check it out. I just threw the detonator into the water because guess what? We shouldn't blow up the other ship. And it's like, oh, you know, big win for like humanity because, you know, they subverted your expectations. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also I do love that they chose the most evil looking white man on the other ship to be like, well, I think we should talk about it. I think we should talk about killing people. I'll fucking kill people.
Yeah.
I'd love to kill people. Yeah. Like there's some moments in this movie that are definitely like are willing to like have a thoughtful moment.
Right.
But it's just funny because it's like that's in contrast with this like very stark like we need to be the good guys, Harvey Dent good guy, clean up the streets kind of mentality that you know is very classically fascisty, you know.
That's true. And it's interesting to me that like the Joker throughout the entire movie, his main goal is not even to like is to inspire like chaos in the general population, right? And there's only a couple examples of people actually like doing what the Joker wants them to do. And the main example of it is Harvey, who's like the DA, who's like the Gotham's knight in shining armor or whoever. So it is interesting that they show how even when like the majority of Gotham's like citizens don't fall to like that sort of like more like chaotic like I'm gonna kill everyone and get my revenge impulse that the Joker is trying to instigate in people, the cop will immediately. But the Joker in general, I think, is just so for one thing, Heath Ledger, amazing fucking performer. There's a reason people fucking go back to this movie over and over again.
Yeah,
and it's the Joker. Like if we don't have Heath Ledger Joker in this movie, it's not as good as the last one, even, you know.
Yeah, it's not good. I would just venture to say not a good movie without Heath Ledger.
Yeah. I don't think anyone else could have played that Joker in that way and done a job that's like I can't see that role being done any better at all, or in a way that like any other way than Heath Ledger did it specifically that would have like been like a good movie.
Yeah, it's funny because like he totally disappears into the role too. Anything else you've seen Heath Ledger in, he was nothing like that, and he just disappeared so fully into this role, and it's like it's shocking. It's like he's legitimately disconcerting. He's funny, and just like profoundly evil. But there were a few moments that really made me laugh. Regarding the Joker, especially in that last scene. In the last scene where the Joker and Batman are having their little dialogue in the fucked up building.
Yeah,
because the Joker is
hanging upside down.
Yeah, he's just talking about I corrupted Harvey Dent.
Yeah,
and Batman's just sitting there like, and like looks so funny. Like Batman, like going between those two people, that back and forth. First off, you have Joker hanging upside down, swinging back and forth, and delivering like a monologue that sounds like believable. And then you cut to a response from uh from from Christian Bale, and Christian Bale's just like with no ability to emote. They've lit his mask up too much so you can see it all really well, and it looks like Goofy. It just looks really funny. I I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Bale Batman is fucking goofy as hell. I think he's an all right Bruce Wayne, but even as a Bruce
Mhm.
Wayne, he's like kind of like he always feels like too subdued to like really be selling the idea of like this billionaire party boy image that he's trying to
Mhm.
sell. But it reads as Bruce Wayne is not like that, and he's trying to sell that, and he's like Bruce Wayne, the person, is failing to sell that persona, and not
Mhm.
uh Chris Christian Bale,
Mhm.
not Christopher, the actor,
Yeah. Yeah.
is failing to sell the role, because it's like the character
Mhm.
is also acting in a way, um,
Yeah. I mean,
which
I
is
don't know. I find those parts fairly believable, but
yeah,
like, yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things again that it's like Christian Bale acting is kind of hit or miss a lot of the time. I don't know. I think that he really does kind of fall into being able to do that like millionaire playboy role fairly well.
mhm,
He like executes it perfectly in American Psycho, right?
yeah,
And like is just able to like go back and back into that like really well. But him playing a like super sicko a hype like a superhero is just like really funny because like his voice changing is just goofy. It's kind of wild to see him try and sell it. Sometimes it just doesn't hit.
yeah. Which is
But
why it's always
yeah.
fun to watch him interact with the Joker too, because the Joker is like getting under his skin,
Mhm.
and like Batman acting kind of fucking awkward and wooden.
Mhm.
I think does work in that context too, because it's like especially when I'm thinking of is like the interrogation scene where fucking
Mhm.
like the Joker is like fucking roasting him for like slamming his head on the table or something, and Batman is like acting like fucking like awkward as shit throughout that entire encounter.
Mhm.
And it
Yeah, while the
reads as like
Joker's just like,
he's like you're out of your element.
yeah, you don't know how to torture someone.
And
You're
I
not
think
this kind of freak.
yeah, I think that works. Like I don't know if like I wouldn't call like Christian Bale a particularly like good Batman, but
Mhm.
I think that having that kind of like wooden like um gruff monotone like not really like like kind of like he's not like super selling the superhero part of it,
Mhm.
works well in that context where it's like
For sure.
he's like actively being out freaked by somebody.
So who I sorry to derail a little bit, but
Mhm.
who do you think is a good Batman?
I don't know. I don't
Mhm.
think I am a huge Batman fan. I want to believe Robert Pattinson is a good one, but I haven't seen that movie yet.
I feel the exact same way. I want to believe that Robert Pattinson really kills it, but also I haven't watched it. And I do love Robert Pattinson, and
Mhm.
I have heard good things from most people about his performance. Um, but I can't believe until I see.
Right.
So I got to do it. And we'll get there.
We will get there.
Oh yeah.
Um yeah, so I don't know. I'm also just not the biggest Batman fan in general. I just know that Christian Bale is in it.
Mhm. Yeah. I thought you were gonna like maybe say a jokey answer like Val Kilmer or Adam West, and
Adam
I
West
would have
I think is
respected.
legitimately probably a good one.
Adam West is very funny. I do
he's
like an Adam West
he's good at the
Batman.
type of Batman he is.
Absolutely. The goofy one. Gotta love a goofy Batman. Let's see. Okay. what else about this movie? How about how did you like Gordon in this one?
Gordon?
Mhm.
I don't know. I felt Gordon was kind of like um I like that Gordon I don't know. I didn't really feel like Gordon had that much of like a character beyond like a few specific things. It felt like, and this movie does kind of have the problem that a lot of like, I think it's like, it feels like a lot of the characters are really like just set dressing for like the plot situations that they want to set up, you know? Like Gordon is not as bad an example of this as like I know this is not a related question you asked, but like Harvey Dent. It feels like every single like character interaction that Harvey Dent has is not like him playing a character that like makes sense. It's setting him up to become like Two-Face at the end of the movie, right?
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
And then Gordon just feels like most of what he's doing is like ordering cops around and showing up and doing like, it feels like he's there to do things and not like express himself, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, I do like a few of the times that he does express himself
I
because
think at the end it was good when he was like trying
he's
to
good at
talk
the
down
end.
Harvey.
Yeah, he really does sell it when he's trying to talk down Harvey. But
Yeah.
then also at the end is when he does his monologue that fucking blows. And so it's just like, and you know, I don't
You know,
really
the
want to
thing that
put that.
blows the most about that fucking monologue is how many people have fucking repeated it over and over again. Like it
Yeah, that
fucking
makes it
means
worse. Mhm.
anything.
Yeah, I yeah, I don't want to put that on Gary Oldman though, because I think Gary Oldman is like a fantastic
Right.
actor, has been forever. So a very clearly a Christopher Nolan problem, and that's okay. I mean, you know, hey, it happens. Not every movie is going to be perfect. Even though a lot of people think this one is. Yeah, it's yeah. Okay, so what about so we were talking about the Joker.
Mhm.
The Joker in this movie, I think, is like well portrayed most of the time. But there's one thing I don't like about the Joker in this movie.
What's the one thing you don't like?
I don't like that they put it into the movie that the Joker was so far ahead of everyone else at all times
Mhm.
that he was basically able to just like set up whatever the fuck he wanted.
So
It
I've heard this criticism before, and watching this movie, I did go into it wanting to like think about that.
Mhm.
Do you have a specific example that you're thinking of?
um that he gets caught and taken into a holding cell
Mhm.
where his plan to escape from it is to get his phone call so he can make another person that he got sent in blown up with the cell phone that he sewed into his stomach.
Yeah. So here's my read is not is just based on how the Joker is as a character. Because the other scene people point to as like being fucking ridiculous is like the hospital scene. Um, I don't remember the details of the complaints people have about that. Um, the way I read this Joker is not that the Joker like has any control of the situation at any time, but just that the Joker is doing so many just fucking random chaotic things that one of the things he does happens to have stuck at any given moment. And there may have been
Mhm.
like other shit that he did that's like off screen that was just not relevant to the plot, you know? Like I don't necessarily believe the Joker had this master plan to like sew the explosives in the guy. I think he just did that and then the guy was in prison and then he calls him, you know? Maybe that's a weird read to have, but it just seems like
I think
there's
it
room
is.
for him to have just fucking like been just doing random shit for the entire movie and it just happens to work out for him.
Yeah, I mean, if that was the motivation though,
Mhm.
I'd be like, you gotta show some of these things like failing or like weird shit happening around it, right?
Yeah.
You can't have all of it succeeding all the time if you want to give that character, because that's how you have like you know, these kind of chaotic characters. Like I want to say like Deadpool,
Mhm.
where like they'll be like adapting to their situation a lot, and that ends up looking very chaotic, and it is. But ultimately, it's like, yeah, they're like, kind of doing all sorts of different things, and then it works, right? Where like in this, they just show like, oh yeah, well, he's just such a brilliant mastermind. He's Sherlock, right?
Right.
I think that this is very much like he's a Sherlock. The bad one, the bad Sherlock. Where he's planned things so far in advance and is relying on everything to go in such a specific order that it just kind of all like falls into place, and he's like, look, I'm brilliant and evil, and but he's like, I'm crazy, but like but that doesn't get told through the way the story is told. That just gets told by
Yeah.
him saying, I'm crazy, I'm like a dog chasing cars. Like, it's like, I don't know. That part takes me out of it. But I don't know. I think that that's very much like a kind of a failure of the plot. But what do I want? Like a 3-hour movie where they show him fail a bunch of times too? Nah, not really.
Yeah. Like that's like the movie's already long enough that like showing additional things I think is like not necessarily something that can be
Mhm.
justified. And
Yeah.
like there's little moments here where he just seems like he's like flying by the seat of his pants in a lot of ways. Like the fucking bank robbery feels like it's like 8 like random coincidences. Like there is a semblance of a plan in there where he's like giving everyone instructions on like, okay, you're all gonna do these things and kill each other, but like random
Mhm.
shit happening, like the guy with a shotgun and things like that, and the way he approaches those situations just seems like we don't necessarily see everything he does like set up pay off, but it does, like, just the way he approaches situations in when he's that he's like improvising makes it seem like he is just setting up as many things as possible and using which one ever happens to be convenient to him. I don't know, it doesn't it definitely didn't take me out of the movie the first time because I just personally don't care about plot holes like that.
Yeah.
It just won't
for sure.
take me out personally. And like
Mhm.
thinking about him, I don't know. I think it's justifiable if you are capable of seeing the movie that way. But yeah, I think that probably they could have like done more to show that potentially if there may have been a way to like make that more clear, and resolve that
Mhm.
contradiction.
Yeah. I mean, I actually think that the bank robbery scene is very much like the planned out problem for me, because what is ultimately a chaotic situation ends up being fixed by him being like, well, we're just waiting for the bus, and the bus comes, and he's like, I need the bus to hit this guy. And he does it.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay. It's like, I don't know. That shit's like,
Well, I don't know if the bus was planned to hit that guy. The bus just planned to go through the wall in that spot, and he used that to improvise to like kill the guy. Because I don't think the bus driver doesn't act like he was like he's surprised that everyone's dead, right? It doesn't seem like the bus driver has been instructed on like killing people.
No, he's the only one who isn't told about killing someone in the plot.
Yeah. So it just seemed like this is like the type of plan that he has, where it's like, okay, well, I've done these 8 random things before. I'm going to pick the one that will get me out of the situation in this moment.
Yeah. Okay. All right. With that one, okay, I could see it with that one. Mm-hmm.
I think at a fundamental level, like the plot has to have things go his way in order for that to happen, and it's like in order for like the movie's plot to progress, right? So some of it probably does seem like, oh my god, he planned everything out, but I think that like there's room for his character to have just been fucking doing shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm mixed on it. I still think it's a kind of a problem for a few times, but anyways, it's not the end of the world or anything. Still, Heath Ledger, amazing performance. Rest in peace. Yada yada yada. Yeah. Okay, what about Dent's portrayal?
I don't like that.
Said a little bit.
I actually really don't like that.
I think Dent really kind of sells it as being like a DA and
Yeah.
like, you know, being
I
like a politician DA, right?
Yeah, I think
Um,
I think he sells it at like his like doing his job, right? And I think this is a movie
Mhm.
that and this is like a Christopher Nolan problem from what I understand from the
Mhm.
movies that I've seen, at least, is like a lot of his films have like characters that are more the job they do than like a character that they inhabit, you know?
Yeah,
And this
like
movie
his
is like
whole relationship with s- uh, uh what's her name?
yeah,
Yeah.
Rachel.
Rachel, thank you. His whole relationship with Rachel feels stupid. Like,
Yeah, they don't have any chemistry.
yeah.
They it doesn't feel like particularly like romantic. It feels like a boss dating their dating their employee is what it feels
Yeah, which is also what it is, and also he's the White Knight of Gotham, and it's like, okay,
like.
seems bad, but
And then
canceled
also,
sweaty.
like, his whole thing is like, I had to talk, like, maybe this is intended to, but it doesn't read like this was like an intentional point the movie was making. He talks a lot about like, I had to calm her down while she was dying and lie to her when I knew she was going to be okay. But that's what she was doing for him. He was not calming her down when that happened.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and of course, him having a twisted vision of that makes sense after having half his body burned off, and like,
Yeah,
you know.
but
It's also like,
the movie doesn't seem to question
no,
how twisted that vision is, you know?
yeah, no, not at all. I think the only time that he really sells the relationship at all is when they're both panicking and about to die.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, sure. But after that, it's like, it's it's kind of bad. It's kind of bad. It's kind of dog water. And then, yeah, if that, I kind of wish that they didn't have the whole romance subplot in it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like,
see
have
where
him
you're
be
coming
married and
from.
have him be married, have him have like a kid that he needs to save, and then his kid gets burned alive instead, or something like that. I mean, there's so many other ways you can do this that aren't like, well, we're gonna insert him into this whole thing with Batman's love interest, and they're gonna have weird feelings about it. It's like, no, that just sucked. It wasn't
Yeah.
enough to sell it.
I also just don't think Rachel had very much to do in the story in the first movie either. And like, I don't know.
No.
I'm not a huge Rachel fan, turns out. I
Turns out,
like in the first movie,
Kinda.
Rachel is just kind of barely there for Batman to like have. I guess the role she plays is like his like connection with like humanity outside of like being Batman is like
Mhm.
Rachel. And they do talk about that in this movie too. That like Rachel is like the only friend that he has that's like not friend
Mhm.
/ potential romantic interest that's not like related to like him being Batman, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
the only real person in his life that isn't like a freak.
right.
Even Alfred's a freak.
Yeah.
Alfred is revealed to be more of a freak in this movie.
So, but like I understand like her role as that, but like I don't know. I don't really buy it. Is the thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't and like I just am not really like it feels like all these character like Rachel exists for like other like men to be attracted to her, which like I
Mhm.
I like there's reasons that trope is commonly used because like it's like convenient sometimes to have like a object to advance the plot forward, and people love to consider women as objects.
Mhm.
But it's
Sort
just
of like
not like
sort of like a female MacGuffin.
yeah, and that's like what she fucking feels like in this movie
Yeah.
is like okay, well Rachel is like it even in the first movie even like she has more agency in like what she's doing. And
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't just suck because of that, but it's definitely part of why it sucks, you know? I can
Yeah.
accept a female MacGuffin if it's like leading to something that like if it's like doing something interesting with that, or even if it's just
Mhm.
like the movie is like really stupid and it has the female MacGuffin because they didn't want to think about it. I
Yeah.
can live with that too. But
It's
if
it's just such a classic trope in superhero movies.
yeah, but especially when this is a movie that like makes you like Christopher Nolan really wants you to think about how smart he is when watching this movie, I think.
Yeah.
And including like a trope like that in this movie kind of like just takes away from like, okay, well it's just cheap, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like looking back at the Raimi Spider-Mans, like
hmm
100% that's the case for all those movies. Like Mary Jane is just there to advance the plot as like a weird object to be tossed around between all these superheroes and villains as like a potential partner, and it's just like it sucks, you know.
Yeah.
And Lois Lane is like 100% that character in a lot of Superman media too. It's
Mhm.
just like it's this like classic persistent trope that is annoying.
Yeah.
Especially from a modern perspective, right? Or contemporary perspective, excuse me. Um,
Especially
and,
from a modern perspective in 1920.
yeah, I know. That's like, damn it, these are modern. Goddamn. Yeah. So you know, looking at them backwards, it's like, oh yeah, I mean, it's a joke, but you know, this movie does not pass the Bechdel test.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It
And
doesn't.
Rachel is like, how many female characters even have like speaking
Lines?
roles? You know?
3. I think there's 3.
There's
4.
Gordon's wife, there's that one cop, Ramirez,
Mhm. Yep.
there's the judge,
Oh yeah, the judge. Okay.
and there's Rachel. I'm not
There's
thinking
Rachel.
of anyone else.
There's that woman on the ferry who wants to blow up all the prisoners.
There's the
Um,
ballerinas. Turtle, I don't remember a single. We have
Oh, yeah.
someone in our live studio audience saying Gordon's wife, Judge, Rachel, ballerina.
Yeah, the
Um,
ballerinas did have a line.
They had a
One
line.
of them was talking. Oh, actually, interesting point. The ballerina was talking to Rachel at dinner about politics. This movie does pass the Bechdel test. That's so funny.
Well, does it count
That's
as
so funny.
passing the Bechdel test if there are also men in the conversation?
Yeah, because it was 2 women talking to each other about how politicians are
Which
are, like,
politician though?
they were talking. Oh, that's true. Good point.
They were talking about a man who is sitting at the table next to them.
They were literally talking about how Batman's a vigilante. Oh my god. Never mind. Bechdel test out. God. What a fucking shit show. But yeah, it's I think that in the third one they may actually pass the Bechdel test at some point in the third one.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm looking forward to seeing it again because it's been a minute. I know it doesn't really matter because the Bechdel test is kind of a jokey thing, but also it's kind of fun to look at.
It
is
is
a fun little metric to look at.
Yeah, and I mean it does kind of say something. I don't know. I feel like this movie is like has gotten a reputation among certain really annoying people for this is why I call it a Reddit movie, is because like certain people there's so many people who like that fucking nonsense monologue at the end. People will quote that and talk about how fucking deep it is. They're all like the fucking Joker, we live in a society people who I think really like you didn't start to see people want to emulate the Joker, I think, before with any previous incarnation of the Joker. You know?
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, this one's fun. This one's evil." Oh,
yeah.
Whereas like Jack Nicholson, it's like, "Oh yeah, that guy's like a nasty freak." But
yeah,
I don't want to be like him. And now people are like, I want to be like the Joker. We live in a
Yeah.
society, and the only way you can live in a society is to monologue about how the world is unfair, and the only fairness in life is through chaos. Like, okay, man, fucking chill out.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. I just kind of I kind of have a grudge against this movie for that reason, that it feels like people really want to like this to be like the intelligent superhero movie, you know? And it's like, it's fun. I think it's a good movie. I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's one of the better superhero movies out there.
Yeah.
I don't think the movie is like especially deep or intelligent in the way that a lot of people on the internet seem to act like it is.
I feel like describing this movie as intelligent is really stupid. That's
Yeah.
like such a hallmark of somebody who thinks they're really smart, like an Elon Musk fan, you know?
Yeah.
Elon Musk fan would be like, this movie is so cool. Most people don't understand it, but this movie is really cool and smart, actually. Meanwhile, everybody's like, I got it.
You have to have a very high IQ. I think like
Yeah.
the Rick and Morty archetype was really into this
Yeah.
movie back in the day,
Mhm.
like when it had come out too, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I'm not imagining this, right? This is something you've noticed too.
I wasn't interacting with that kind of person back when this movie came out. I watched it and was like, this is a cool movie, and Heath Ledger's great, and rest in peace.
Yeah.
But that's about it, you know.
Damn. Well, I was looking at people who I disagree with about shit on the internet from a very young age. It was one of my earliest hobbies, so
Mhm.
that's
Yeah,
mostly where I ran into it.
I didn't really start doing that until probably in the last 10 years or so. So before that, it was mostly me going around looking at media and being like, wow, that's really cool. I'm gonna go live my life in the world and go to a concert like multiple times a week.
That'd be nice.
It was nice.
I want to go to more concerts, honestly, but fucking I need to get a new job. This current fucking situation I have where I am working. I was literally looking the other day for shows, and like in the next month there's like 5 bands I really want to see, all playing on days that I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like I can't live my life with Mondays and Tuesdays off. Unrelated to the show. I'm just fucking bitching now.
No, it's fine. Hey, it's rough. It's bad to have a bad schedule. It is. It's rough on you as just people generally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Anything else to say about the movie? We got
I mean, a lot of shit happens. We could go into like
I don't want to go like through detail it, it's just like
yeah, like I there's the thing that the movie does do, I think, better than anything else in the movie, because I don't want to sound too negative about it, and I've been hating a lot, is like the movie has like a great sense of escalating tension throughout the entire fucking movie, and it feels like the stakes are always going up and up and up and up and up, and it is like a long ass movie where it's like 2.5 hours, but this is not like a I'm checking my phone halfway through type of long ass movie. You are like the way that things are like paced and progress throughout the movie, like incredibly well done.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's a really nice pace through the movie. It is like really nicely filmed. It just looks good.
Yeah, except for that one
feels
scene
good.
that you're talking about.
Except for that one scene, which the lighting was too good, because the Batman needs to be in darkness or he looks weird. Yeah, God, that suit just does not look charismatic, I gotta say. It's like it's got a really nice silhouette, and that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I I have gripes about the movie, but generally I do think it's like good. It's good. It just has some shortfalls that I wish it didn't.
Yeah.
I live to endlessly critique media. Also, Turtle brings up that Scarecrow comes back, and that's true. Scarecrow comes back for a cameo at the very beginning of the movie, and I love to see Cillian Murphy.
Mhm.
Cillian Murphy at the beginning of the movie selling drugs to people in a mob, one of the mobs.
I would love to buy nightmare drugs from the Scarecrow.
God, he only sells nightmare drugs. It's amazing. Like, I don't know why anyone's even buying them.
Selling them to people like me.
Yeah, to the weirdest freaks on the planet who love DXM. They're like, oh yeah, I love DXM and Scarecrow and nightmare drugs.
I love DXM. I love pounding an energy drink and then taking a bunch of Ambien.
Oh my god. Oh god, it's been
anything that lets you see God.
Absolutely.
And God doesn't like you, by the way.
No. Especially on DXM.
Otherwise, why would you have to poison yourself to see him?
It's true. Well, that's the only way you can see past the demiurge that's guarding all creation from the rage of an unknowing and uninterested God.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yep.
On that note,
is good, actually.
On that note, we do have a voicemail.
Oh, we got a voicemail.
We got a Troggy Doggy. Ooh, it's a long one.
Oh, look at that.
It's a okay, let's strap in.
All right. Hey, y'all, Troggy Doggy again. In regards to Batman Begins, I think it's very poignant to point out that it's not exactly as fascistic as Batman can be and tends to be in more modern era depictions. I do think that in 2005 we are arguably at the height or just after the height of the Iraq War. So it is a very neoliberal, well, we don't want to do all this surveillance. I guess that's more Dark Knight rather than Batman Begins. But we don't want to do all the surveillance, but we kind of have to. The bad guys are going to, rise up against us, and we have to have a vaguely Orientalist enemy, which thankfully doesn't get more explicit as the series goes on. But I do think it is relevant when these are made, and I think why Dark Knight Rises is kind of so divisive is that it technically slightly predates Occupy Wall Street circa 2012, but it does hit on a lot of the same populist notes without having any actual substance whatsoever on why Occupy actually made sense as a movement. So I would be interested to see how y'all discuss that, and also 2008, the financial crash on the horizon, the bubble at that point, and then of course surveillance, especially the NSA leaks and whatnot related to the Iraq War. Anyway, sorry to ramble. Y'all doing good. Thank you.
Surveillance, yeah, that was something
we didn't talk about that.
Yeah,
I can't believe we didn't talk about it. Yeah, Lucius Fox's device being weaponized into the ultimate surveillance device. That was nuts.
Yeah,
I loved that. That was one of the things. It led to some of the goofiest images in the movie of like fucking Batman's eyes turning static white.
Yeah,
and being like, I'm looking at the Matrix.
I felt like half the time he was using the sonar too. It's like, well, why don't you use your goddamn eyes, my man?
Yeah. Here's the sonar. Sonar's back up. Oh, I'm being hit by the Joker.
Sonar detects the Joker is 2 inches in front of you.
That shit was funny. But yeah, I do like it conceptually quite a bit, and it did lead to some pretty fun, like, oh, check it out. You can see the sonar is showing all the people in this building, and you can see them all standing around. Wow. And that's fun. That was fun. But ultimately, yeah, having that as a critique of the surveillance state was surprisingly, I'm going to take it from a 7 to a 6 on the Miller, not the Miller, the oh, you know what I mean. On
Yeah,
the ometer,
the morometer.
morometer. Thank you. Because they do, in fact, say it's bad to surveil everybody all the time, and that Lucius Fox does, in fact, destroy the machine as he's leaving to make sure that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. And they're like, the government can't have this. I can't have this for an extended period of time. I will become corrupted. And I'm like, oh, okay. That is a surprisingly thoughtful thing to say about it, instead of being like, I've created
Yeah,
this surveillance device and it's going to revolutionize the way that I police Gotham, and he uses it forever, which would have been bad. I agree with Lucius Fox that allowing something like that to continue existing would be evil, and that he was right to threaten leaving the company.
sure.
Yeah.
And like Lucius is right about that, but I don't know. I feel like, and this is also like, it's kind of predates like some of the Snowden, like WikiLeaks kind of. Does it predate WikiLeaks?
I think so, but it doesn't predate the Patriot Act, which
Well, yeah,
we're already talking about quite a bit.
that's
So.
true. I don't know. I don't necessarily feel like the movie like actually like made any more of a passing reference of like, this is bad, and like
Mhm.
maybe there could have been like a reason given for why it was bad, other than like 30 seconds of like, I don't like this, and Batman's like, yeah, well, too bad.
Well, then you can destroy it when you're done, okay?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't necessarily feel like, I don't even necessarily think that it would have fit in with the rest of the movie for them to have like a critique of like the surveillance state in the movie, but I
Mhm.
don't think that what was included was a critique,
Yeah,
like
I don't think it was actually a critique, but rather
Yeah.
like kind of a baked in critique that they were like, I hope that people get this,
Yeah.
because I don't actually want to critique the U.S. government in my movie.
Right.
Which I understand, but also Libby,
Yeah.
Libby, come on, say something.
Yeah.
Use
Use your words, please.
your words. Use your words. We live in a society.
That's true. We do live in a society.
We got any emails either, or?
I don't believe we have any emails. I think that's all for today. You can find us at the places. Yeah, I'm kind of desperate to wrap this up too, because it's
Yeah, I'm
fucking
tired.
5 in the morning.
I'm fucking tired, dog. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Yeah, it's only 3 here, but yeah. Thank you for coming through, everybody. I hope you had a nice time. We'll catch you on the next episode of Edging with Trash and Mug.
But up. We're still recording. Okay, now we're